time to get comfy and eat some people. Yum. Let's see, I should probably ditch my phone. I got my phone in my pocket, and that's not the most comfy thing ever. There we go. Okay, so before we go too far, I should probably double-check audio settings. Hey, they didn't get reset this time. I think I'm still playing, like, the press version of this game, and I'm pretty sure I don't actually have access to the main version, which means if this game gets any updates, I don't get access to any of them. Which would suck a bit, but, it is what it is. Did the subtitles reset? Probably did, actually. I'll
more protests
check that.
Surrounding Prosperity Sands were not the public already so numbed about ecological concerns in general.
Oh, they didn't actually get reset. Hey! Yeah, no, they're on. Cool. I don't understand people's obsessions with sharks. You know what? I don't really either. I'm not big on sharks. They're kind of cool, but they're mostly just creepy. Which I guess is kind of the point. That, like, there aren't a whole lot of true monsters in the world. Because, like, what's a good example? Bears. Bears are pretty monstrous when they want to be. At the same time, they're cute.
The bull shark tracks down a seal. It's a mouthful of disgusting blubber for its efforts.
Like, I think I just swallowed that thing whole. Damn. But, like, I understand why people would think they're kind of cool. At the same time, they're kind of horrific. There we go. Let's see, when was this game released? I've seen this game around for, like, years before. You're probably thinking of Depth, which has been around for a couple of years. Like, 4 or 5 or 6 years, give or take. No, this game came out earlier today, actually. So yeah, this one's new. Your Atlantic Spade. Oh, swordfish. Swordfish. Snackfish. Okay, so things we gotta do today specifically. Quests? Oh. There's the last one of those. I think I'm not entirely sure if I want to go for hundo on this. So, how far are we on this game? We've got 3 regions left. Caviar Key, Crawfish Bay, and the Gulf. That haven't hundoed. Yeah, you know what? We can hundo this, no problem. This won't even take too long. Sup? I'm not here for you. Please disregard shark. I just want that. Alright, fine. You're screaming a lot. Goodbye. You deserve this. So here's the question. Do we fight a bunch of hunters? Because I want to get maybe the electro... No. We want to get the rest of the bone set first. So let's work on that. Because if I can get the full bone set, that gets me, Oop. If I can get the full bone set, we should be able to just destroy all boats and not have to worry about anything. So you now a Meg? Yeah. Yeah, I'm a Mega Shark. I'm not a Megalodon, which is a bit of a shame. Like, I still wish this game had more evolution and mutation options than it does. It has a number. They're kind of nice, but it's like, I still want full Evo Search for Eden, which really makes me want to play Evo Search for Eden someday. Hello, shark. Nope, that's a seal. There's the great white. Excuse me. Do not bite me while I am biting. Thank you. That was a snack. Hello, great white. There we go. Yum. I kind of wish you could turn off the UI in this game. I don't really need the thrash meter anymore. But yeah, someday I will do a full series on Evo Search for Eden, probably with Shell as an accompaniment, just to say I finally recorded it. Because that was one of those games as a kid. I never beat it. I barely got past the shark. The shark was a pain in the butt. But like, the concept of it was so cool. And it was one of the first, like, action-ish games that I ever played on... It's one of the first action-ish games that I ever played specifically on the SNES.
The shark hunting sector has experienced significant growth, leaving a lot of local openings for amusement ride operators.
Okay, how many do I need?
Anxious folk out there boated painted sails. But, you know, so do a lot of other New York couillons.
Okay. No, we're not done with this yet. We still have Kill the Apex Predator, which is Big Shark. King of the Ocean. Oh. Are they not going to give it, like, a name?
Coastal tourism in the U.S. continues to grow, leaving millions of naive Americans vulnerable to the graft of beach umbrella renters.
See, I'm legitimately curious if they're going to name that one Bruce. Or something else.
The bull shark is known to be a voracious, if hardly discriminating, eater.
Alright, what else do we got around here? Where are we?
The powers of society have retaliated with deterrent action, but mankind is ultimately impotent to stop Mother Nature's vengeance.
Oh, yesterday I said there was a feature in the tutorial that I haven't used
Orcas
since.
do enjoy playing with toys, but not half as much as a day-old seal carcass.
Oh, is this the orca pen? That's what this is. I was wondering about this. That's... Got anything else in here? Got a couple of things still in here, I think. Yep. Okay. Let's see if I can show this off. Nope. I gotta grab something. Grouper? Nope. That died instantly. I need something with a little bit more beef than that. Mahi might be okay. Nope. Yeah, I need something that doesn't just die on me.
A shark is never one to pass up a fat fiesta.
But the answer is, it's the tail whip. You can specifically grab a fish and then use it as a projectile, which is probably a useful strategy, somehow. But it's not the kind of thing that I would normally use. Because I don't need to, and so I honestly just forgot it existed. Let's see, is this everything? Next up, we want to grab that one. I'm just trying to get every collectible in our immediate area. Here, nope. Yeah, the problem is I'm just too strong. Oh.
The Emperor of the Deep, the Great White.
What? Isn't he all the way out here? What? Oh, okay. Unless he's coming for me, he's gonna have to wait.
Even after the creation of a killer clown task force, clown-related homicide still remains a problem in Port Clovis.
I'll be real impressed if he actually, like, finds me in here. But I guess we're just kind of in boss fight mode until I go kill this guy. So I guess I should go find him. Was that Pennywise? Yeah, that was Pennywise. Or, you know, legally distinct Pennywise. That's one. So if you notice, I just flung that mahi-mahi. at that grouper. You can use tail whip to actually like fire things at other things, which is really cool. Mostly kind of pointless for me, but it is a feature that I straight up forgot existed. That was nickel wise. Dime was the clown. Nickel wise just feels like that would be like the horror version in Nickelback, and I just don't want that.
Port Clovis City Council never misses an opportunity for cross-franchising.
Of course. All right, let's go take out this shark. We didn't talk about quarter-wise though. Well, yeah. And then there's just 50 cent, which is just 50 cent. Like, it's weird when you get the coin clowns together, because somehow they managed to bribe 50 cent to just be in there.
600,000 square surface miles to be exact, making it 5th among the world's seas.
And then dollar-wise just has way too much sense to be there. It's not worth his time. He has better things to do.
Shark's propensity to clear the ocean of its assorted detritus is one of their most valuable functions.
He has better things to do and probably went back to school for, like, an MBA.
A great way to discourage museum attendance is to put your museum underwater.
What about silver dollar-wise? Again, that's 50 cent. He doesn't belong there, and he knows it. Everyone knows it. But no one calls any attention to it. Because I think they're all just kind of embarrassed. Where am I? Okay, I'm going the right way. It's not marked on the map.
Beach erosion can be harmful
here we
for
go.
ecosystems by changing habitat conditions for such local fauna as seals, sea turtles, birds, and fish.
I am here to munch. You are here to be munched. Apex my butt. You cannot beat me. I'm Vampire Shark. Who needs skill when you have lifesteal? I've already taken off, like, all of his fins.
The
I
great
have.
white is often referred to as the king of the ocean, which gives it a skewed understanding of the role of a monarch in modern society.
Alright. Well, that was easy. Oh, checking on Pete again. Yeah, we can do that while we're here. There he is.
Pete, what's in the barrels?
Fish food.
Pete, whatever this is, can I ask you not to do it?
Gonna get that shark. One way or another.
It's just that this seems unnecessarily destructive. I mean, it's just one shark. There's a whole ecosystem.
One shark that killed my boy.
Pete, look, I understand.
Wanna keep tugging on this knot, you?
Damn. Scaly Pete is poison sapphire bay. Check the map for more details. Oh. Oh. Region poison. So more albino. Interesting. Well, one way or another, seeing as we're right here, let's do some completionism stuff.
Many consider the Gulf Stream to be the world's greatest current, but for my money, you can't beat that Kurashio.
Okay. But yeah, I'm just gonna swim around grabbing all of these locations real quick. Mainly because they're easy, I'm overpowered, and I could beat this game in like maybe half an hour if I wanted to.
This mineral supplement wouldn't be necessary if this shark ate a more nutritious, well-balanced diet.
I'm a little tired of him saying that. Like, the actual game is good. But just hearing that over and over is brables. Hey, thank you, Shadow Reaper, for the 100 bits. How you doing today? I am Shark. Is that Jerry I hear? Yep. The game looks great, but not worth 55 bucks or whatever they're asking. 40 American isn't... This... I would say, at least as far as, like, US dollars, not a bad price point that they're asking for. Like, it's weird. Whenever I talk price, from my perspective, yeah, I'd pay 40 bucks for this game. Like, no hesitation. And would have done so, had they not sent me a key. But it's one of those where, like... depending on how much money you have and, like, income and whatnot, obviously you probably want to wait for this to go on sale. Because that's just how these work. Hello, hammerheads. You don't belong here. I think that's a great way. Way to just dive right into my mouth. But no, so, like, I think as far as full price goes, 40 bucks is not a bad...
An insatiable fish. The bull shark is 9/10 appetite.
40 bucks is not a bad starting price for this game. But I know if... I know Epic sent out, like, $10 coupons recently. So it's one of those that, like, you very reasonably could probably knock the price down to 30 real quick if you wanted to. It also really depends on what you put the value on time. Because, yeah, obviously, if you're using games like Persona 5 as your value proposition, then sure, it wouldn't be worth it. But I've always ascribed specifically to the dollar value based on a movie perspective. That, like, you know, if it costs me 10 bucks to see a movie, or even 15 bucks to see a movie for, like, 2 hours... Any video game that is worth more than that is...
delved into the stomach contents of a shark is acutely aware that they'll eat just about anything.
Anything that has got a better value proposition than that is quote-unquote worth it. Then the question is it actually a good game? And then you have to actually balance that one out a little bit. But from my perspective, I guess the thing I'm most drawn to is just the fact that it's a novelty more than anything else. For me, I hope this does well enough that it garners a second one where they actually, like, you know, beef it out and add more, like, interesting mutations and stuff.
Sea sponges' demand for pineapple homes has sparked massive deforestation throughout Costa Rica. But being brainless, sponges rarely weigh the consequences of their buying decisions.
Okay. So you usually go with the dollar amount equal to hours gotten. I guess my beef with that is that really does pigeonhole you to a certain number of things. There are some absolutely fantastic experiences where that doesn't quite translate. And there are certain games where that really just doesn't work. A lot of puzzle games tend to be like that. But, like, Witness is probably one of the only puzzle games I've ever played that had, like, a good direct dollar-to-hour conversion. But I felt like it was too much. I'd rather have Myst, which, like, originally came out, I think it was like 30, 40 bucks.
Often quite content to dine on whatever wastes fall to the ocean floor.
Because, like, Myst is, like, maybe 5 hours tops if you're going slow. And yeah, that's like a 5-to-1 ratio. Journey, oh gosh, yeah. Journey is a game that can be completed in an hour and a half if you know what you're doing, and that it most definitely is not quote-unquote worth it. And so I get it, like...
is an animal of broad dietary proclivities.
Let's see. I get it that it's a, it very much is a sliding scale, but I will always argue slightly against just saying, like, it's not a perfect dollar-to-hour ratio, so no. Because then you get a lot of games that are actually worth people's attention, but everyone wants to pass on it because, you know, it doesn't have as much bloat as... Well, I'm going to say Persona 5, which probably might upset some people, but I found that game to just be insanely bloated for how
Hunger is a
good it
driving
was.
force for the bull shark. This shark is a sort of super scavenger, completely lacking in what may be called dietary discrimination.
I really wish I could shut these off, though.
The appetite of this shark is nearly insatiable.
Alright, I think we're done with this little region. Let's get out of here. Let's see, I think Abzu is just better, cheaper version of Journey. Do you agree? I actually didn't like Abzu as much. I thought it was a beautiful game, but it lacked the emotional weight.
Goaded by lusty appetites, the shark's sole aim is to eat and evolve.
Okay, where... Oh, it's behind me. Like, I liked the idea of Abzu, but I wish they had gone for, like, a more unreal, like, if everything had been original and interesting. Because as it stood, I don't remember anything about the plot of Abzu. I remember everything about the plot about Journey. Yeah, they also did release a new game that's mobile only. Yeah, I need to play that at some point. I know they're also working on a new one that is... actually has some combat and looks kind of like Princess Mononoke, but at high speeds, which is really cool. So you always want at least $1 to hour. Again, though, I'm going to argue against that mentality just because there are so many good games that don't hit that ratio, and to use that as your only metric for, like, is this a good game? It really... I'm gonna say it poisons the mindset against a lot of good games.
Random mutations aren't random. They require large amounts of mutagens as a catalyst.
And so, like, yeah, worth buying, sure. I can understand and sympathize with that perspective. I just hate it when people are like, it doesn't have a dollar-to-hour ratio that's, you know, bigger than 1. It's a bad game. And it's like, no. You do not... I will always balk against that specific mentality. Because it is very much like, it encourages developers to bloat their games with garbage instead of actually making a good game.
Shoreline are now the exclusive domain of the wealthy.
Yeah, it's not a bad game. It's about affording it. I'm using you as a little bit of a straw man here. I've had long arguments with people that legitimately believe that, like, a good game has to have that positive ratio. Because that's what's created what Ubisoft is now, where their games have become bigger and bigger and bigger, but there's actually less of a value proposition there. For me, it's the fun-to-dollar ratio, which is actually a lot thinner in a lot of games. Because, yeah, penny pinching and being, you know, fiscally wise.
Are you throwing a fatal door on the beach at night? You just asking to get bit.
Let's see. I'm starting to run out of air. Well, that's okay. I have ended that party. I am so flopsy on the ground. Alright. Nope, we're not done with this area. It's amazing how calm your talk over the screams of agony is. I am dead to video game violence. It is bad. Oh, it's a Mako. Goodbye, Mako. You are Munch. Alright, is that it for this region? I think we're full done on this one. Alright. Next region. But no, like, I totally understand the metric of, like, dollar to fun or whatever. Or, not dollar to fun, like, dollar to hour or like, gameplay.
To see this area is to witness the inability of the hydrosphere to support the growth of humanized landscapes along the Gulf.
But, like, I truly have played a lot of games where the value proposition skews long. Like, okay, sure, this game is 200 hours long. But is it actually, like, 200 hours of good? And it's very rare that I play a game that actually really is, like, 200 hours of pure unadulterated fun. Like, there's a reason why I haven't finished Witcher 3, ever. Because I love that game. It's so well done, but it would have been better if it had been split into, like, 2 or 3 games.
For now.
Just from the perspective of, like, it got old fast. And I'm sure a lot of people really like that sort of thing, but, like, the older I get, the longer...
returns to the grotto to focus on personal transformation.
The longer a game is, unnecessarily, the less I tend to like them. Because it's just like, oh, this has just kind of been bloated purely to keep me playing for longer. And it tricks you. It tricks you into thinking, this was a good purchase, this is a good game, because... sunk cost fallacy, but I find that's often false and frustrating. That was your main gripe with Breath of the Wild. It's a beautiful game, but it's a lot of nothing with minimalist story. Yup. I love Breath of the Wild. I wish it had not been a Zelda game.
After losing to King Crush in the 2011 Monster Mania semifinals, Big Finn stepped away from the limelight for a simpler, more natural way of life.
See, if I'm paying $50 for a game, I want 25 hours of main story content. Or at least unique content. I think I'm much more of a 5-to-1 ratio. If I pay $50 for a game, I want 10 hours of good, unique content. If I pay $60, you know, 12, 13, something like that. Past that point... the main problem is, very few games actually have good, unique content.
Sometimes even sharks just need to dirty bulk.
So few, like, big $60 AAA games actually have, you know, that much value of, or that much unique content. The only game in recent memory that I can think of that's, like, a AAA game, there are 2 that really, like, hit that... sweet spot? Well, I don't even remember how long God of War was. I felt like God of War was the perfect value proposition for what it was. Final Fantasy VII Remake is the other one. Final Fantasy VII Remake is probably the best value proposition in a JRPG I've ever seen. Because it was so little fluff content. There were like 3 sections of side quests, very little open world anything.
Gobbling up anything that finds its way into the water.
And, like, always pushing you forward with something new, some more story content, new enemy types, blah blah blah. They did have recolors. They had a number of recolors, but, like, that was it. That was the only real downside to that one. I'm gonna get these here. There we go. Let's see. But yeah, I think it also really does have to...
shark's life, it will ingest quite a broad assortment of flotsam and jetsam.
It really also does have to do with, like, how much discretionary spending you can do, how much free time you have. Because, yeah, I get legitimately, like, stressed out whenever a game is, like, advertised to be like, hey, this game is going to be 200 hours. And I'm like, oh, God, no.
Expressionless eyes are constantly on the watch for food. Prosperity Sands reminds us that sometimes the construction of second and third homes supersedes considerations like loss of species diversity.
There we go.
If you're like me, you're probably wondering what their secret is for such durable papier-mâché.
But yeah, let's talk about Breath of the Wild a little bit. I'd actually fully agree with the whole assessment that it was just kind of vapid content. It was like peak gameplay for a Zelda game. Really good open world design, and probably one of the better open world games I've ever played. But from like a Zelda game perspective, I don't know, I felt constantly kind of let down by it. Because I kept wanting more like interesting Zelda story and more interesting dungeon design. And it kind of had neither, and that sucked for me. And so, I did a lot of the open world stuff. I got a couple hundred Korok seeds and a lot of shrines. But I would have been perfectly satisfied with, like, 20 really interesting, well-designed, like, full-length mini-dungeons than, like, kind of just one puzzle mini-dungeon thing. Let's see, I think this is the next... yeah, gate. I could get that. But I don't see any fish around here to even sling at that, even if I wanted to. And that's okay. I feel like Far Cry 5 was the worst cost for a game. Game only takes 5 hours and costs $60 for the main story. Not to mention the follow-up game after was just a copy of the previous game with the same price. You know what? I mixed on that one. I felt like Far Cry 5 almost was okay. The main story was bafflingly short. I did really enjoy running around in the open world. It just lacked the variety to make it worth it. But I think that's true of like almost any Ubisoft product.
Recently, Port Clovis has gained a reputation for its derivative, politically confused street art.
Yeah, Far Cry 5 was stupid fun. Picked it up for $20 and it was worth it. Yeah, and that's kind of where the value proposition starts, like, looping back around. Because I can totally understand, like, saying, yeah, absolutely worth it for $20. Whereas this one is, like, worth it TM for $40. Finish one of the Far Cry games by doing nothing. I mean, technically you get... Far Cry 4 and 5, the best endings are actually the ones where you do nothing. Where you just peace out, and that's it. But yeah, the concept of dollar-hour length is subjective. Oh, absolutely. I think it truly depends on the person. Like, games that appealed to me when I was younger were games that I could squeak a lot of value out of for long periods of time with interesting stories. Because I didn't have a whole lot of money, my parents wouldn't let me buy a whole lot, and so I wanted games that were either so fun I could replay them as much as I wanted, or they were so long that it would take me forever to finish them. Because the alternative was a really short game that I'd beat in a weekend and then be like, well, that's it. That's all I'm ever going to get out of that game. What's up? I'm just enjoying the view. You can stop screaming now. Alright, fine. That's what you get. Screaming at sharks. It's rude and not appreciated. Orca. I've not fought an orca yet. Well, I got smacked around by that one. But I'm just going to abuse this orca. I'm back here, orca. You think you're going to avoid me on land? This is a mistake, orca. This is not how this works. I'm Battle Shark. I do not care land, water, sea, or air.